Hello and welcome back to Kerbal Space Colonization, where this episode numbers number 7, and we will be sending off many ships to various different places, which is of course awesome. First things first though, let's get some more research going. We want heavy aerodynamics, and it may not be immediately apparently why, but we want the Mark III liquid fuel fuselages, and we want. Wait a second. Did I not just have? We want liquid fuel stuff because that's also nuclear thermal rocket stuff, and that will allow us a little bit more leeway in building ships because now we can only have the very small liquid fuel thing. And that's a problem because we sent a nuclear powered asteroid tug to an asteroid in the previous episode, and that went horribly wrong. Well, there weren't any explosions, but the asteroid is now not here. That's the short of it. The long of it was the previous episode. Go watch that. It was fairly hectic. We sent rescue missions and chaser robots, and everything got lost into interplanetary space. So it wasn't that great. What we're gonna do now is have another go at the uranium shop. That's now 300 days old almost, or 224. Did I see that wrong? Oh well. It's been out there for a while. It's been steadily mining uranium and producing ships. Let's see how they're doing. 500 uraniums. 591 uraniums. That's like pretty much halfway there to the 1250 point that we need to, you know, send it to Kerbin for lots of money. We're still not making supplies. We're not using up the water. I haven't figured that out yet, but the rest is looking really good. So let's start building some more rockets. Let's build the Prospect Eeloo. I haven't shown you this yet, and I will as soon as we start launching stuff. Let's see, the small uranium drop, that's the uranium drop meant to go to Kerbin. Actually, I should tweak this because now it's going to be built with uranium in it. That's not good. Let's see, this one here, that's the one I want. Takes 6,000 rocket parts, but that's fine because they are built on the spot. Right, that is 1 day from now. That's so quick. They built these things so darn quick. Let's see, after this high power electric stuff completes, I'm going to, actually that's just the thing I'm gonna warp to. So let's revert to the space center. After the high power electrics complete, I'm going to design some things to shoot to Jewel, but I've just realized a problem. This is a mission that keeps getting postponed, and now the reason is we need to send it from Kerbin because ion engines require xenon. Last episode we sent a hastily put together failed refueling ship that even crashed back to the planet, and now we have 94,000 credits left. I haven't designed the ion ship, but I don't think that's enough. Oh well, I suppose, because the ways we're gonna get money are, let's, come on, get out. The do stuff around Bob. That would be done with one of those ion things. Do stuff around Paul, same thing with the ion things, and test this thing at Val. This has actually been built because we don't actually need to fire the ion drive. We're just gonna land that with conventional engines. Now, of course, we could build more conventional probes for the other bodies, but come on, conventional probes, we don't want that. Right, so the Kerbals still have full volume. Right, we could explore dress, but that just means sending ships to different places, which is not what we want to do. Landing on dress. Dress is a weird thing. It's distant, just like the rest. I would like to do that with something ionic. Gilly, flags on Vol, orbit Eeloo. Orbit Eeloo? This is gonna happen soon. Yes, please. Alright, that's it. We're not gonna do any of the other things here because that's just distracting us from our goal. Hey, look at that. We got an advance for orbiting Gilly. That was a big advance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 160 grand. Now we can try and design that ion thing. Hey, hey, I'm gonna do just that. See you in a sec. There we are, this is the Ion Exodus. Contrary to previous planning, it contains only one hefty ion-powered probe. There's really no reason it should be ion-powered other than I want it. And it's quite expensive. It's 156 grand, and that'll eat up our funds again. So we're gonna build this, and then just play with that when it finishes. Or rather, when the Joule launch window comes around. So now we've got quite some stuff to launch to Joule. We've got the Ion Explorer to Vol, we've got this thing, we've got the Joule Diver, that's 3, and then at the same time we've got the Prospect Eeloo, which is now building at Minmus, to launch towards Eeloo. That's 4 launches in 65 days. So I think that's gonna fill the episode. The next episode we can probably focus on designing a honkin' big asteroid grabber, a better one, which will work to grab the heat shield asteroid, which is smaller. And then that design can then later be refined to catch the Hunter 1 once it comes back around. Or grab another building and mining asteroid. The thing with the asteroids, though, I've been thinking, and because they are actually decently simulated rather than not so decently simulated, it's probably more effective to just bring along a big hunkin' supply of rocket parts. I mean, they are refined already, they're still massive. The only difference is that maybe the rocket part container is more than 9% mass, but I don't think it is. So that kind of defeats the purpose of having an asteroid spaceship. Unless, of course, the asteroid spaceship turns out to be a really good heat shield, and then we can live around the sun. And there's the cool factor to consider, that's important too. So, yeah, I don't know. We could have like maybe a swarm of asteroids inhabiting mini base parts, and then once an asteroid is exhausted, it will fly to the next one. But I think one thing is for sure, we definitely need the crazy high specific impulse fusion drive, because otherwise it's going to be a very, very dreadful, dreary, slow and boring process. So that's going to be our top priority. In the process, we will also make money so we can hire Kerbal, so we can actually populate all these bases we're going to build. Right, for now though, launches to Joule and Eeloo. We shall begin. I just realized all our stuff is in weird orbits, so that's probably going to be a little bit troubling. We're going to begin with the stuff that's already in orbit. We're going to start with the Joule Diver. That's in orbit of Minmus. Shouldn't be too hard. And if Minmus is like on the, I'm making a fuss, but it's ridiculous because Minmus has an orbital velocity of like 200. So at most it's going to be like a disadvantage of 200. Whereas at best it's going to be an advantage. Today it's going to be a disadvantage because we're at Minmus, that's orbiting clockwise, and we kind of want to go the other way. But then again, it's still more efficient as compared to going from Kerbin. So we're going to Joule today. We're going to Joule. And where are we? We are here. We are moving towards Apoapsis. This takes 55 minutes. We can wait that long. We're going from here. Let's see. Is this... See, now we have cancelled out our velocity relative to Kerbin. That's actually a disadvantage. And then we're just gonna pile it up again. That's our advantage. And let's see, we are at 1.5 degrees. If we go like this, we will go at more degrees. So we want to be burning a little bit this way. And we don't want to go take a crazy long detour. Let's see, we are at 2 degrees now. 2.5 actually, that's not good. We want to reduce that inclination. 1.8, 1.5. I'm going to show you this process for this flight, and then for the next ones I'm going to do it off screen because, well, I'm going to have to do this like 4 more times. Let's see, let's get the best encounter we can. Here we go, that's looking good. Duel encounter, and it looks as though it might even be a collision. And of course that sounds like dramatic, but it's not. Promise it's not. Actually, this is a weird encounter. Actually, oh no, it's not that weird, because we're coming from Minmus, then going to Kerbin, then going to Solar, and just doesn't draw the next step. Let's see, dual encounter. Yeah, so we can't really say a lot about it, except that it's gonna take 2 years and 254 days. And 3 kilometers per second of delta V. That's actually a little bit more than I thought it would be. Maybe this Kerbin disadvantage is actually material. Either way, our ion ship is gonna have its work cut out for it for sure, because that has 7,500 kilometers 7,500 meters per second of delta V, which I'm now wondering is maybe not quite enough. Also, I started royally late burning this engine. This is still a fairly lengthy burn, so I may have screwed that up. That said, we're not around a particularly strong gravity well, Minmus, so it's probably going to be fine. As you can see though, this will take 10 minutes, so with some opportunistic time warping I could probably reduce that to 3 minutes. But a big but is a big but, yeah, I'm 5 years old. These 2 extra engines that are providing the hedonistic super boost, they're gonna fall off first. And then it's back to waiting for a long time. So, as you're accustomed to, you won't have to watch all of this. There we are, burn completed. Took like 12 minutes because I overshot a little bit and then had to backtrack. There is Minmus in our rear view mirror, 1500 kilometers away. Now begins the long coast. Look, here we go. Actually, this is probably the fastest transfer to Joule. This is also why it costs more delta V, I think, because we're covering a larger distance, but we're going there like straight away. Let's add an alarm. Sphere of influence change. Wait, no. First, we're going to. Yeah, first we're going to change out of Minmus's sphere of influence in like 3 minutes. Yeah, and then after out of Kerbin's sphere of influence in a day. So we can't quite set the alarm yet, but we'll do that after we send all ships on their way. The next one is the Ion Lander, which is in a wide orbit of Kerbin. We kind of didn't put that, kept that in a Minmus orbit, we put that in a Kerbin orbit, which is a perfectly fine way of doing things as well. This is a nuclear transfer stage with a single tank drop and then chemical landing engines. Now, knowing that this was 3 kilometers per second makes me a little bit anxious for having enough delta V. But first, let's make the maneuver node to Joule, and then we'll worry about complaining. See, adding a maneuver node. And established. 2.7 kilometers per second as well in 2 hours and 47 minutes. Once again, nothing to assure me that it's in the tanks rather than other than. I keep saying rather than, other than, other than. No, rather than other. Yeah, that's difficult. Nothing in the tanks but hope that there is enough fuel. So another 11-minute burn, which magically doesn't take long at all. See, barely takes any time at all. Let's see, we are about to reach our target. I deleted the maneuver node, but here we go, an encounter. And of course we're gonna have to tweak it so that we actually get to Vol, because that's where this is going. And we'll plan a maneuver node here, at least, yeah, let's call that the maneuver node Ion Lander Vol intercept course change. Add the alarm. I could have done that for the other one as well, but I was too stupid to do so. So, look at this. The fuel has almost run out on these external tanks, and everything is really hot because of the sustained nuclear furnace. But, well, we're happy. We're happy. 2 ships en route, 2 to go. One of them is on Kerbin. Let's roll that out. And the other one is on Minmus. And seeing as how this one is still rolling out, let's visit the Minmus one first. Let's focus Minmus. Here we go. Oh my god, there's so much stuff in this solar system. Not the roughneck grinding station. No, we need the uranium shop. And as soon as these 4 vessels are underway, I'm gonna design the Big Bertha asteroid pusher. Her job will be nothing but pushing asteroids. Dedicated to just that. We have a vessel completed. The ion, yeah, we knew that. Right, we can have a night launch here on Minmus. Finalize the build of the Prospect Eeloo. This one is new for you guys. Look, there's an empty carborundum tank. Carborundum. I've been calling that way too complicated all this time. Oh yeah, and installed MacJab for Delta V numbers. So filling it full of fuel, nothing special there, except that it's going to Eeloo, of course. Release the Kraken. Throttle up and go. Softly off the launch pad, because, well, we want to not damage it. Full boost once we're clear. We want to get away from this FPS chugger as soon as possible. Right, 50 meters per second, that should do it. We're very sluggish because we have no performance. But we're tilting over and preparing to boost for a temporary Minmus orbit. There we go. Boost. This liquid stage is only there for convenience sake. It's not efficient, it's not good, it's just a nice and easy way to get the first kilometer per second, or maybe 2, and then switch over to the efficient nuclear drive. Just saying. I don't do this because I don't know better. I'm doing it out of rocket hedonism. Here, and the delicious smoothness of good performance has finally returned. Oh, there's a red light here. Oh, that's the MacJab thing. Let's disable that. We don't need it. Right, we're sort of in orbit. We have some time to plot a maneuver from that apoapsis to Eeloo. Where the hell is Eeloo? Has it been swamped yet? Oh yeah, the heavy lander is still there. But, you know, the heavy lander is not going to be there forever. Right, Minmus is still in opposition. That's still not good for us, but honestly, who cares about that? I care about it a little, so we're going to at least not reverse. We're going to do... Screw that, we're gonna reverse. No, because the maneuver nodes don't do that. Right. Right, okay, one thing at a time. First, let's go to apoapsis. There's not a mountain in the way, is there? No. Good. Apoapsis, 2 hours. As long as we can finish this burn before this vessel rollout completes, then I'm happy. Then we can do our atmospheric launch and be joyful at watching rockets. This episode is good, there should be a lot of rocket launches. Oh, wait a second. Electric charge. Let's deploy some solar panels. Let's not be an idiot and forget that. Actually, I forgot to tell you, on the ion drive probe. Oh, we haven't launched that yet. I'll tell you that in a bit. What we have here is 4 carborundum mini drills. I don't have the big ones. I don't know why not, but the mini ones is all I have. This is gonna land. This has outboard nuclear engines, and then it's gonna fill this up and hopefully send it back home. I may have overestimated the amount of delta V that these nuclear engines give ever so slightly, but you know, live and learn. Live and learn. That's important. Right, let's go to 2 hours in the future. Click away. Boom. We have to turn around. Maybe I should have given it more reaction wheels. Maybe. You know what? I should have done a lot of things. Oh god, it's so true, even in real life. Just saying that makes me sad. Oh well, punch it! Orbit established. Not quite. Yes, quite. Right, let's start boosting for Minmus. No, not Minmus, you crazy loon. We're going to Eeloo, obviously. And we're not getting there by doing a burn in this crazy direction. We may have to do that, in fact, from that crazy direction. Zooming out, Ooh, Eeloo is so far. Is it actually? No, it's not that far. Give me my maneuver node back, please. Yes. Ooh, look at that. There's a lot of relative inclination. Inclination is always relative. I'm not trying to sound fancy by saying relative inclination. You don't have absolute inclination. No, no, stop it! Some time warping happened. Oh, I still have my own, I still have the same maneuver node, so that's not bad. All right, let's stop mucking about with these weird inclination shifts. We'll plan this thing in stages. That's fine. All right. First thing is establish an approximate altitude, and then the next thing is to fix our relative inclination. Haha, relative inclination. I said it again. Let's see, that's 0.3. Ooh, we had a somewhat encounter there. Ooh, there we go. Now, is this a horrible encounter? Takes 3 years. It's a bit horrible. We wanted to go there, but we don't have the Delta V. Minmus is one of those places you really kind of want to go flat out. More rocket thrust, more everything, and then just go. But we gotta do it the long way. And 3 years and 200 days isn't that long. I mean, we have until that time to get Carborundorum shuttles, and if one of these Carborundorum shuttles then happens to pass by Minmus and by Eeloo and all this works out, it has 1500 Carborundum, not too complicated, to pick up. So everything's fine, I'd say. 4 hours and 47 minutes, and this is 3 kilometers per second, and then we have a second burn, which from the feel of those sliders wasn't that much, but still quite some. Isn't that nicely exact rocket scientist lingo speak? And after this burn we can immediately launch the Ion Exodus, and that will be 4 out of 4, but let's not celebrate that before actually setting on our way the third. Alright, first stage is nicely chemical. I mean, yes, it's hideously ineffective, but it is nice and grunty. This rocket engine burns out the tank in under 1 second flat. See, all burned out. That really didn't take long at all. So now, under the gloomy eye of this red mech jab, we can separate. Is this the only decoupler on the ship? Yeah, we can separate and light our nukes, which will carry us the rest of the way. I will share with you something horrible that just happened. My god, if you're a long-time watcher, you may remember that I've had some horrible tooth problems. Basically, I got butchered in my mouth, and now there's shrapnel of bone coming through the already healed what the fuck's the English word? The meat around your teeth, your gums. There's some bone shrapnel from the operation just working its way through my gums, and my god, every now and then I just suddenly discover a spike, like somewhere below my teeth, and then I have to like grab it and pry it out, and then it makes this like sound and feeling, and then I can pull a chunk of bone out of my mouth. First time this happened, I ran back to the hospital. I was like, what the hell? This isn't normal. Why are there spikes coming out of my mouth? And they said, oh yeah, that can happen. Would have appreciated a heads up. Anyway, back to more important matters. Let's finish this. Oh dear, yeah, we have to do this precisely because the next one kind of depends on it. Yes. Shazam! Next one 870, and this happens in 99 days. We'll make an appointment on our alarm clock with that. Course correction. And is this maneuver node, let's just add the alarm, is this maneuver node still accurate? Almost! That was a pretty accurate burn. We can fix that when we get there. Right, so, let's see, we are still fully fueled. As you can see, this thing is not staged. This is a single stage to Eeloo. Well, apart from the stage we just dropped, never mind. This is a single nuclear stage to Eeloo. Nothing here separates. That's also because it's designed to land and then just basically go nowhere. For now, we are going to launch the Ion Exodus. This will be the lengthiest burn of them all because it's solely ion powered, and an ion engine has a glorious thrust of 2 kilonewtons. Mind, this is still approximately between 10,000 and 1 million times stronger than real life ion engines, where burns literally take months or even years. In the game though, they only take hours. It's not so bad. Right, we have some undone science, but it's hidden away in this shroud here and I don't dare do it. Are we gonna do a night launch? Maybe. There's a problem. I tested this one and I kind of wanted to reduce the thrust on the boosters, forgot to do so, so sit back and enjoy. This may fail. Let's just not use the liquid engine, let's use it a little bit for steering. I'm going to try and pitch over really soon because as soon as these thick heavy boosters run up some thrust, or at least some thrust to weight, that means when they get lighter, they are completely uncontrollable. So hopefully this works. See here we get the supersonic wash, which will soon make way for a hypersonic shredding feeling. And even though it appears that these boosters are almost fired out, they will still scare us to death before actually stopping. Because, oh my god, this is just too fast for 15 kilometers. We're approaching a kilometer per second, for Christ's sake. We're accelerating at 5 Gs. Actually, it's not that spectacular, but... Come on, this is a probe! There's no rush! It's gonna be in space for years! You can take off slowly. Right. There we are. Let's ditch these boosters then. Very carefully. Fire the engine away from there. And now we're in like regular... sedate, civilized spaceflight mode. We can ditch the aerodynamic cone. Now we can do the overdue science. Let's see, 50 kilometers. That could still be dangerous for the antennae. Atmospheric pressure scan. Only 5. I mean, we can get five science points from this. Sure, why not? Kerbin's upper atmosphere, worth exploring. To business. I will establish orbit, and once we're in the day, we're actually gonna have to do our burn at night. And in a bit I will tell you how I know that. I'm gonna make orbit and then I will show you our magnificent rocket craft and do the longest burn of all. Yeah, sound good? I think so. See you in a second. There we go. We're in orbit. I've laid in the course for Joule. From here it's only 2 kilometers per second, interestingly. And that's also because I took the slightly more low energy trajectory, which will take 200 days more to get there. Which is fine in my opinion, because, well, otherwise everything's gonna arrive at the same time, which will be a problem. Let's start boosting. We should be fine, I think. I'm worried. I'm a little bit worried because we're only 200 kilometers up, and I'm still boosting significantly towards the planet. But we'll see. Well, I mean, most of the burn will be very low thrust anyway. Let's go. Boost! And then as soon as this stupid rocket has exhausted itself, I will separate it and talk to you about the probe and the reason why it's getting dark now. See, on Kerbin, we tend to launch in a east direction. Yeah, that's east. 90 degree heading on the compass. We do this because Kerbin rotates, and it rotates in the easterly direction. I may be mixing this up completely. If I'm mixing it up, it's just the same, but the other way around. And because we launch in that direction, we're always orbiting the planet clockwise. And because the planet orbits the sun... No, because the planet just orbits the sun, it does. because we want to burn prograde and move and put our orbit in a prograde, extend our orbit in a prograde direction relative to the sun as well, when going to celestial bodies that are higher out than Kerbin. This means that you always end up doing that on the backside of the sun, because you want to not reverse your orbit around Kerbin before ejecting out. Conversely, if you're in a prograde orbit around Kerbin and you want to go to a lower celestial body, that's one closer to the sun, let's actually fire up these ion drives, then you will always fire your engines in the daytime. Interesting, isn't it? And I didn't really explain that very well, but here we go. Anyway, this ship has a few properties. It has massive solar panels, because of course these ion engines, they take quite a bit of electric charge, as you can see. To provide buffer, we have a lot of batteries. However, sometimes it's night and the ion engines don't do anything. We have well, the ion engines work, but the solar panels don't do anything. We have a small canister of fuel here with some fuel cells, and let's light them up. I bound them to the light switch. I think that's here. Yeah, they are now loaded. Unfortunately, they are not sufficient to completely run the ion drives, but they are sufficient to somewhat run them. We will still also deploy our solar panels just for when we do turn out behind the planet. And I've just spent a few minutes gloriously explaining, touting my space knowledge and telling you about, oh ho ho, once you're going to higher up planets, it's always on the dark side of the planet. But while I was designing the ship, I completely counted on the solar panels functioning. So yeah, I'm not so smart after all. I actually included the fuel cells to provide thrust when landing if we were suddenly hit by an eclipse or something, but as we can see, they are not quite sufficient to do even that. So we'll dub them range extenders in the way a hybrid car has a petrol engine that doesn't drive the wheels but charges the batteries. Fair? Anyway, we now have a problem, obviously, because we're not going to be able to finish our burn, and it will take several days before we're back here. So this maneuver node will no longer be valid. On the other hand, we are going fast enough now that we will relatively soon emerge from behind the planet. Here, now you can see we're just inching along, and that's done with only the one. Apparently we can run one ion engine with the energy input of 6 fuel cells, which really isn't taking us anywhere. Then again, it's also not consuming that much fuel. Of course, this is not replenishable, but we'll leave it on until we get to sunlight. And this is, let's see, if we wait for another circuit, that would sort of be best for the trajectory, but then we have the whole problem again. No, best to just soldier on. I mean, the acceleration may be low, but it's not like completely zero. Let's actually... Whoa! Maybe not do physical time warp. That went crazy. Alright, I'll just do the good old-fashioned waiting. And... my god, it's like a crooked-eyed pirate. Just one eye. Yeah, I know, I've got lots of imagination. Right, we just have to wait until the sun peeks out from behind the planet. The sun is over there, the planet is here, our ship is here. It will be a while. It will be a while. It will be like, say, here on the trajectory. And then, well, we'll be bending our trajectory a little bit. We'll evaluate after like a few hundred meters per second. I'm gonna wait a while this pooters along, and I'll update you with the progress. Here we are, out of the shade, into the sun with 2 of the big panels fully lit, 6 ion engines blasting away. Let's take a screenshot. This is looking good. Boom. Good for the cover of the episode. And what to do now? We have 500 meters per second to go on our burn. Let's just shut the engines, charge the batteries for a while. Because you see, our trajectory is deviating. This maneuver node is no longer valid. We'll have to make it again. Let's see, we'll do that here. And we'll slightly tweak our orbit this way. Because we don't want to go inwards too much. We want to go to Jewel, but we don't want to go to any of these other weird places. Let's see. Oh, no, no, no. What is the deal here? Come on. Come on. That was an encounter. I'm going to be lazy today, I'll warn you. 3 years and 88 days. Yeah, that's the one we had counted on. So. Whoa, our direction to burn has completely changed. Which is fine, and we also require a little bit more burning. So, here goes then. Boom, 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 boom. It's quite unspectacular, the ionic thrusting. Is this a good screenshot as well? Maybe a little bit too much in your face. I'll pick one out. Anyway, lots of ionic thrusting going on here. 1 kilometer per second to go, and you blink and you miss it. What did I tell you? Blink and you miss it. 35 meters per second to go, which means we are now authorized to stare at the map view and see. Oh, look, it's already having an encounter. 3 years and 103 days. See, that time can be reduced a little bit. Only a little bit though, because we're going there sooner but going further away from target. Right, let's also add a ascending node maneuver point here where we can attempt to fine-tune our course to Vol. Aim at Vol. So next thing on the docket is a heat shield asteroid which will be incoming, which will need to be captured. Shall we try and predict where that's going? Cannot focus an object we do not own. Right, so no predictions. That's basically fancy speak of saying no predictions. I'm going to build something in the VAB, which we will then construct at Minmus. And first I thought I was just going to build a big Bertha thing that will capture the rock and that's it. But I thought, no, let's not muck about. Let's make something that has nuclear engines, a resource refinery to make more fuel from the asteroid, a particle collector, and a carborundum thing, because that way we can immediately repurpose the asteroid to fly into the sun. Sound good? I think that sounds good. And I think we're gonna need a Kerbal to ride it, because he can operate the drill. No, we'll have to drill remotely. Come on, we're not sending one of our great engineers into the sun. Jesus, what was I thinking? Isn't she a beautiful? Isn't she beautiful? Holy moly. We've got miners, we've got distillers, we've got engines, we've got a grabber, we've got control, we've got solar panels for power, we've got batteries. What we don't have are antennae. And also what we don't have is a carborundum tank. Holy hell. This is nice to check this out with you guys. Alright, we have carborundum tank radial. We can store... Holy hell, we can store... This is a large one, isn't it? Yeah. How much carborundum do I want to bring? Let's assume we're gonna be successful. I want to bring at least 2 of these canisters, but not 6, because that's just too heavy. This is insane. This is insane. The small one then. Mini carborundum tank. Inline one. I could do this. The inline one, it's not that heavy. It's like... it's quite heavy. You know what? I will put this at the top here. A little bit more offset between the grabber and... Actually, I also need control. Let's not have these on everyone. Now I need to do them one by one. That's a bit of a pain, but well. Let's get some stay put nicks. Why the hell not? You know, redundancy in case one of them smacks into an asteroid. This can happen. In fact, it has happened. And we want this thing as well, the surface scanner module, to scan our asteroids. Here we go. I think this is a beauty. Oh, we have to make sure it can stand on the launch pad. Can we put a decoupler under this? because I don't really want to stand it on the particle collector. This may be difficult. Alright, we'll just stand it on some makeshift legs. Modular girder segment XL, this one here. What I'm trying to do now is make sure it actually will stand on the Minmus launch pad rather than just disintegrating. This probably means we're gonna have to do some cleanup with this doesn't help at all. Well, it might. We will engage everything at once and hope it doesn't break. Yeah, this will work. Come on, let's not be a sissy. It is quite hefty to build, 16,000 parts. We will build it this episode, launch it this episode. Everything else with it will happen in the next episode. Because all our experience so far with asteroid intercepts have proven that that's a hell of a long process. So in our Carborundum program, we have on its way the Prospect Eeloo, which will take a long time. We have the Jewel Diver, which will take less of a long time. And we soon will have this, which will be another Sun Diver, which will probably happen first, if it works at all. I'm quite doubtful, because we will need to send a small asteroid on a trajectory that grazes the Sun. And that will take the better part of 10 kilometers per second of delta V, and that is a hell of a lot to impart to an asteroid. Even though we built something that can actively mine said asteroid and then expel it, which should also make it lighter, still it's quite a long shot. But you know, empires were built on long shots. Here we go, let's open up the resource window. I always go to contracts. Resource window of this fine base. It's still recovering from the liquid fuel stolen by the last ship, well, given with love probably. Here we go, we are almost ready to launch our uranium drop, which will give us a lot of money, and new Kerbals. And we can send the new Kerbals on dangerous missions, because we can. Right, let's see if we can crank some more time warp. Sorry for the jarring visuals, this isn't the most pleasing thing to look at. That's what she said. Anyway, here we have it, the Sun Diver Mark III, ready for action. 39 days until the asteroid enters Kerbin's sphere of influence. And let us... We will do the same thing we did with the other asteroid grabbers. We'll park it in a Minmus orbit once the Sun comes up here over Minmus. And then I think we'll just have to time warp until that asteroid comes here, because otherwise we're never gonna see what these all these missions will do. It's not fun if we have to wait for like a million years. And the fun bit, by the way, is the bottom of our alarm clock list is still the Voodoo scanner, the thing that was launched in like episode 6 of Eeloo and Tylo, and that was just the worst trajectory ever. It's still the last one to arrive after like the 4th generation of missions, and we haven't even started building massive torch drives or anything. Right, finalizing the build. We're not sending it any ore. That it's gonna have to mine for itself. And everything else is fine. Monopropellant, let's actually time warp a little bit to see that we have enough monopropellant to give it, because otherwise I think it will bug out and just give it 0. And even though this one does have reaction wheels, yeah, here we go, release. It's standing on these weird legs, like sort of to the side. Something horrible is gonna happen, because all these shrouds are gonna explode off. Go! Go! Something horrible is already happening. Oh god, what is this? No! What happened? What happened? Holy shit. Something crazy happened. Something crazy is still happening. No. What? Oh no, it's crashing into the miner. Mm, this is not good at all. Oh god. What happened? I think the base wasn't injured too much. Um, what? Can I control anything? I am welcome to control, but not stage. I'm also welcome to fire this, just not to activate any stages. That's weird. Alright, this is a definite failure. We're gonna have to clean this up. Jesus, that was scary. Okay, well, lessons learned. This is not a good way to... We have this, look, control from here. Is the staging locked or something? I don't dare do anything with this now. Alright, well, we'll clear this up at some point. First, let's go to the VAB and design this in a way so that it's only standing on the launch pad on one single thing, which can then fly away. This is not a good way to start on a Minmus launch pad. Alright, here we are. I tried to make like kicker stages, but the problem is nothing attaches to the claw, nothing attaches to the particle collector, and both need to be right there. So I figured let's try and use launch clamps on Minmus. Not quite sure if that will work, but I figured it was worth a try. And if they like spawn into the terrain or fall apart or become their own little weird parts, then no worry, we'll go to the tracking station and delete them. Yeah? I think that's a workable solution. If not, I will definitely use a quick save before this, and if the whole world explodes due to horrible bugs, well, we can revert. I'm confident. I'm confident something will happen. Maybe I should have cleaned up this debris first. Ah well, it's not harming anyone there. Alright, let's build something. And not just something, let's build the Sundiver Mark III, updated. Let's also quick save, as I said. Alright, build. Well, all the rocket parts are exhausted. They are collected over there in a heap. So, we shall endeavor to do more time warping. Here it's going pretty well. More time warping. 100,000 times. Asteroid is approaching. It's 25 days away now. But our Sundiver Mark III is also nearing completion. And the Ion Lander to Val is 25 days out from its first course correction. So, you know, everything is going relatively swimmingly. Apart from that incredibly crazy launch of the Sunchaser Mark III, I think everything went fine. This time I rebuilt it because resources on Minmus are free, but now before clicking launch I'm going to quick save, and if then it goes really weird I can try this a few times again, although I don't really know what I could possibly change at that point. We can just maybe see the uranium shop blow up a few times, you know, that's also fun. Right, here's the usual, time warping to daytime. I really hope, by the way, that this stuff doesn't dry up here in the Minmus biome, because if that happens we're shit out of luck, because we'll be out of money. These things don't have rocket engines anymore, and well, everything will be screwed. But Minmus is a celestial body. I don't think the resources run out. Oh, I hope I'm correct. Same deal. Let's time warp more to produce enough monopropellant to fill the ship. Come on, produce a little bit more. Come on. Get those pumps working! Here we go. All the resources we ever want. Quick save again, just for good measure. And release. What do we got? We have some launch clamps here. Everything is going really wrong here. Everything has broken. The base is shuddering. Yes, this thing cannot exist. Launch clamps, no. This particle collector here, not a good idea. The rest of the craft is working pretty much as advertised. Now we could now do the mission without the particle collector. But you know, that means leaving a big... Yeah, we're not doing that. What we are going to do is load the quick save right now. Oh god, how are we going to fix this? Can I just launch nothing with... Oh no! How did the quick save end up here? I think the quick save was like way before. And now the friggin' base explodes? No! No, no, no! Never release. How did that happen? The flexo tube. No! Let's load this again. Oh, no way! So we have a quick save. Oh, look at that! It's spawning in really high in the air. Because this thing is doing horrible things. Get out of there! No way! What's exploding now? Oh, what the hell? Look at this base! And this engine is firing! No, 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 no. These launch clamps are evidently a horrendous idea, and I don't know how to fix it now. Because I thought I made a quick save before releasing this. Can I eat this like backup? If I immediately hit release, then maybe they're not linked together anymore. Okay, here goes the quick save. Oh man, I mean, I do have a backup, but that would mean lots of this episode like magically doesn't happen, and mean a lot of burns again. Release, release. Go, 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 go. Get out of here. Get out, get out. God. Look at that. Oh my word. Right, I'll be back in a bit. Alright, here goes. I loaded a quick save that Kerbal alarm clock made, and I backed up everything even in this messed up state. Let's hit F9 and see what happens. Oh man, the Kraken is eating this base so hard. Maybe this Sundiver is cursed. I think that's it. The Sundiver is most definitely cursed. Oh god. Here goes nothing. What's this then? This is the Ion Exodus. This is one burn into the past. One burn into the past. Yeah, alright, I can deal with that. Here's what's gonna happen. Nothing about that weird Sundiver thing happened. That was bugs and krakens and demons. I will redo this burn. That should be self-evident. And I will experiment into making a way to, well, to have larger vessels spawn on Minmus without causing irrevocable destruction and death. I think that sounds like a plan. In the meantime, please enjoy the rest of your life. The results of those things will happen in a separate episode, the next one. Thanks for watching again. This is Lorenzo, this is me, and this has been fun and awesome and nice. So, see you around and beware of the Kraken. I hadn't seen it before, but there it definitely was. Good night.